Hi everyone, I'm Timon. This is Trevor from Tolq. Tolq makes it possible to translate any website into multiple languages with 10 clicks or less. So let's see how that works. Okay, so here's Mike. He's a paintbrush creator. He created a new paintbrush and that gave him a growing fan base in Europe. So he wants to translate his website into multiple languages. And he heard about this new app called Tolq. So he visits the website, enters the URL, the name of the website, and the language it's currently in, which is, of course, English. Then he just clicks a button to get the process started. There it is. So what's it doing right now is that it's scanning the whole website, gathering all the pages, and preparing those pages for translation. Obviously, this might take some time. So it might be interesting to note that 65% of the internet traffic growth over the past 5 years does actually not have English as its native locale. And it might really add to your business to have your website translated into multiple languages. Besides that, America, of course, has Spanish as a second major language. So if we make translation easy, there it is, it might really add. Okay, so as you can see, Tolq has found 21 pages that can be translated. Now, Mike can choose here between either translating his whole website or translating a single page. But he is going to go for translating his whole website. There you go. Now, here, Mike can choose between the languages he wants his website translated in. Because he's going for Europe, he'll pick French, Spanish, and German. All right, in the bottom part, he can choose between 3 different kinds of translation. He can get a machine translation, a community translation. Both are unlocked after you've gotten a subscription. Or you can go for a professional translation, which comes at 1.5 cents per character. But because Mike really wants the speed, he's going to go for a machine translation. What's it's doing right now is that it's creating the orders. This also takes some time. And as you can hopefully see in a moment, almost, well, it creates an order for every language, right? There it is. Okay, so most importantly here is that you can see the amount of characters that are going to be translated, and of course you can see the status of the translation. Now, machine translations are really fast, but they're not instant. They can take up to 5 or 10 minutes for an average-based website. So let's switch to the final result instead. So here it is. Mike's website sure isn't the prettiest, but that doesn't matter. In German. And as you can see, I'm not sure how many people actually speak German here, but it looks like pretty good German to me. But more importantly, let's compare it to the original website. Okay, so this is more important. It doesn't mess with the layout, right? So let's do the same thing for French. Let's take a look. All right, there it is, the French website. And again, it looks like pretty good French for a machine-translated website. So let's compare it again to the original website. And there it is. Again, didn't mess with the layout. Now, what if Mike would update his original website? Would he need to go through the whole process of translation again? That would be a pain. Well, actually, no. He can just update his original website, and Tolq will pick up the changes automatically and keep the translations in sync, so that Mike can focus on running his business and growing internationally. Now, there's one more thing I'd like to show you, the power of human translations, which we do as well, as you could have seen, and that's the launch conference landing website translated in Chinese overnight. Here it is. All right, so that's it. We're launching today. If you want to have your website translated for free, come by our booth. We're Tolq. We make it possible to translate your website into multiple languages with 10 clicks or less. Thank you.
Okay. Questions for Tolq? You actually went through this, David, and I remember us talking about your translating Yammer's interface.
Yeah, so we actually at Genie created a crowdsourced translation tool that we have since open source. It's called Tron. It's spelled TR8, the number 8, and then N. And then we use it at Yammer, and it's basically modeled after Facebook's crowdsourced translation tool. The difference between that and this is with Tron, you actually have to go into the, extract all the strings in your website and wrap tags around them, and then it creates sort of the translation community where people can go in and actually translate those strings. They can right-click on them, just like on the Facebook translation. I think the issue here is the devil's all in the details. So I really like the simplicity of being able to immediately import your website. You have the three sort of key options: the machine translation, the community, and then professionals. So I like the fact that you can kind of get access to all of them at once. And it sounds like you have an answer on maintaining the differences, which is really the key thing. That's like the hardest part of the whole thing, is not the first time you translate, but keeping the site up to date over time. But like I said, the key will really be around how well this actually works when, how many strings does it miss? Because you can't extract them without actually getting into the code of the site. I mean, there'll be all those sorts of questions. So I like it in theory, and then the question is in practice, how well does it actually work?
Yeah, how do you get behind the JavaScript in the forms and all that?
Yeah.
Or do you not do that yet?
Well, we do have some solutions for it to work around it, but you're absolutely right that is one of the hardest parts.
Yeah,
Correct.
having worked in Europe, I can tell you this is a huge problem that you're going after. It needs to be 100% right. You very quickly figure out that it's an American company trying to pose as a German company if you're just that 0.1% off. And then the one detail which also curious if you're tackling yet is how do you deal with right-to-left languages?
That's actually something we have on a roadmap, but we haven't looked into that yet.
Actually, in Europe, I think it's easy. You just launch and let the Somewhere brothers translate it for you.
Hey-oh! That's well played, yes. So what about images? You show the launch site being changed, but we have the launch 1.0 competition, 2.0 competition was an image.
Right.
Are you going to offer that as a service as well? Because there's all these little edge cases, JavaScript and images seem to be the top two.
Well, that's a really good question. We've built a framework as an API, so that partly also answers your question. Again, we do have a feature right now that allows you to translate images, as long as we, of course, have the font. And we're working on releasing a feature really soon that will allow you to translate the images as well. Yes.
I have one suggestion. I mean, we build lots of applications, and applications are becoming much more prevalent in other countries now. Do you have anything on your roadmap to help people that want to do this for apps? So they may not plug into your website, but just their app copy and even just some resources from their application, so they can send you a resources file and say, just translate these for me. So I think a lot of developers, they want to go into app stores in different countries now, and they struggle with that just for that basic reason. There's a lot of service out there designed for the web, but we've seen mobile apps taking off. That would be a good place to help a lot of developers.
The App Store description alone,
description
alone is a big pain point. Yeah.
Just a couple of just quick observations.
Yeah.
One is it sort of feels to me like you either have to stand for quality or not. And my first reaction to the three types, the free and the community and then the paid, was good. And then I had a bad one, which was, like that automatic translation of the launch site, like that might be really embarrassing for launch if that was done by a machine, right? And if you're going to stand for quality, that should be your brand, because those are a joke, right? I mean, they're bad a lot of times. So the second observation is just maybe the opportunity is really in the infrastructure, right? And the ability to be good at delivering translations as infrastructure instead of as an app. The hard parts of maintaining it, the changes over time, and actually sourcing the translators might be useful in a lot more situations than just this.
Yeah, there's a company called MyGenjo that kind of does that translation as an API service, and high quality and high end. So I think that part of the market there's definitely a need for it. It exists.
That's right.
Okay, let's hear it for Tolq. Very well done.
Thank you.
Awesome. Next up, are we at our break already? Wow, we're doing pretty good. The pacing is so good. Should we do one more? Okay, let's keep going. Is Trust Egg back there? Oh, they're not back there? All right, we're going to take a 10-minute bio break. Let's hear, before we do, judges, we saw this morning DocStock in the 2.0 competition, 15.5. 15 minutes to create your weekly report, 5 minutes to review it, roll it up for your boss, and then for your boss's boss. Happily track employee sentiment and figure out exactly how fucked BlackBerry is. Hunuku, your family's quilt, and getting men in your family to talk about really touchy subjects. Meet Cute, quixotic dating, movie magic moments in your life. And Tolq machine translation. Which one was your absolute favorite? Which one was your second runner-up? Naval.
Oops. Come back to me.
Yeah. Okay, Tim, which was your favorite and which
Well,
was your second runner-up?
I think if Tolq can get their product to the level of quality which they talked about, then that would be my favorite.
Okay, and which one would be your second runner-up?
Second runner-up, I did like the dock stock idea if they can scale very quickly across all the cities.
David, what was your favorite and your runner-up favorite?
Yeah, favorite would be Duckstock, License 123, and second would be Hunuku.
Okay, great. Gina?
I thought the doc stock idea is brilliant, and they're the right people to see. They seem to be the right people to do it. And then the second one is Tolq. If having spent a lot of time on translation stuff, if they can do what they're promising to do, it would be great for everybody.
Sandeep?
I'd say 15.5, and I'll give Meet Cute. That's my...
I like it. Awesome. Matt?
So I think Jason's got the best business model out here. I don't think it was close. And then I think Hunuku's probably got the biggest opportunity from a long-term play.
Yeah. Great. David?
Jason, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I will angel invest in 15.5.
Awesome. Wow. Commitment from the stage.
Yeah.
I love it. Awesome.
And then the second one I would say happily because I think there is a need for kind of a Survey Monkey-like app within companies. They should both be Yammer apps, I would say. So maybe I'll invest in Happily too if they become a Yammer app.
Absolutely. And do you think with Happily there's a chance that it is sort of enabling maybe some whining or problems, or
Well, I think
that was an issue that came up a lot?
Yeah, I think we should. I think they should kind of separate what the app actually does from the problem they think they're trying to solve. I'd like to see them be a little bit more open-minded about what the problem is. I don't know that what their product really does is make employees happier. I don't even know if that just seems like a little bit kind of tangential. What they really are is a survey tool for, I think, inside your company, right? For your company graph. That seems to me it can be used in a broad range of ways. Doesn't just have to be kind of this HR employee happiness thing. So I think they should be a little bit more open-minded about the problems their app could solve.
Great. Naval?
Yeah, I think License 123 is a killer product, but it's almost unfair. They're a 5-year-old profitable company.
Yeah,
there are a lot of
that's why
resources.
they're in the 2.0
right, no startup can really go after that, but it is a no-brainer product that will make money and make the world a better place as long as it doesn't lead to more forms and permits and licenses.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. Of the rest of them, at first I thought 15.5 was a very trivial tool, like it's too easy to build, but as I look at it and I realize the possibilities for integration with things like Yammer, it could become a core part of the enterprise infrastructure, and it's a kind of thing that enterprises deal with all day long, they would pay for. And if you could see a report basically rippling 5 or 6 or 7 layers up the chain in the big organization, it could have a big impact. It's the kind of thing you could see like a more pro version of the product, Yammer integrated, 2 years down the line, you could see GE writing a huge check for.
Easily for $1 a seat, a month or something.
Well, that was the thing that I thought was a killer feature was the fan out and roll up. So the fact that I, the CEO, can drill into my reports and then their reports and all the way down the chain is very powerful from a virality standpoint, but also kind of a, just a utility standpoint. And I think they could layer on eventually objectives and kind of so in other words, instead of just surveying or kind of asking people questions, you could task your reports with objectives and then have them report back up to you on how they're being accomplished. And you could see those objectives being pushed all the way down the org chart as well. And then the feedback gets rolled up. So I think that could be a very powerful feature as well.
Great. Tyler, let's keep rolling.